I'm on my way to Belgium to film for 4 days at Grimpday. Let's go! So what is Grimpday? Well, Grimpday is the first competition that started between rope rescue teams in Belgium. Fire departments, mountain rescue, search and rescue teams, all the different aspects with regards to rope rescue are combined into one competition. And I have been lucky enough to be invited, well, I asked to be invited, to be able to document the process of what it takes to be a part of a team and what it takes to be part of a competition like that. So the next 4 days I will be following the competition around. I have a press access. I can get into the competition venues and film close up. I will try to explain all the scenarios that are played out, try to follow some teams and see if I can make one episode per competition day. So right now I'm heading over to the opening for the sponsors and well, let's see what is going to happen next. Good morning. Team registration and check-in, so let's have a look. Grimpday day 1 progress so far. The teams have all registered. They got their Grimpday swag, the little bags with t-shirts and some carabiners and some other goodies. Outside right now on the parking lot there are a few sponsors that are explaining the use of their gear, because in certain trials that need to show a specific skill, for instance there's going to be a gin pull scenario, so they need to know how to use a gym pull. There is going to be a water rescue or some scenario with water twice, so there will be that's why there's a life raft explaining how to put on the vest and how to pedal and how to hit your body in the head. And there's Courant, of course, they're doing a tug of war and they're promoting the new Rope Rebel. Now it's time for a little bit of a coffee break, and then afterwards we have a workshop with Richard Delaney. I will keep you posted.
It's my son's birthday today and I'm over here with all you rescue professionals, so I'm looking for a little favour. I'd like to do a little video wishing my son Luca a happy birthday. If you could all include yourselves in it, it'd be really, really important for me, and he'd love all the fact that all these some of the world's top rescue professionals are here, and if he gets a welcome message from them, that'd be brilliant.
Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Luca. Happy birthday to you.
Just a quick explanation how the judging is done in the competition. Every team needs to bring an observer. That observer joins the other teams, and it is arranged by the organization. So that observer joins another team for an exercise. After that, they get attached to another team. They don't travel around with the same team all the time, but they go all over the place. Then the organization has controllers stationed at every exercise. The controller and the observer both decide the score of the team. The teams are judged on various different objectives. Like one of the objectives might be to reach the casualty as soon as possible. So if you're at a casualty within, say, 5 minutes, you get 20 points. If you reach a casualty within 5 to 8 minutes, you get 15 points, and if it takes longer than 8, you get like 10 points or something like that. Then there might be points awarded if a stretcher is horizontal and needs to go vertical and back to horizontal. That the amount of time that the stretchers in the vertical position you want to limit as much as possible. So if that's like 1 minute, you get points. If it's more than 2 minutes, you get less points. And if it's more than 5 minutes, you get 0 points for that part, for the exercise. I'm just making up the points. I'm not sure how they were divided, but I'm just telling you how the teams were judged, on what they were judged on. They get awarded medical care or casualty care. So if you reach the casualty and you drag them out of a car, then you get less points. Then you lower like 2 persons down and take care to put on the spine and a neck brace and all that stuff, and take the casualty out gentle. There was one exercise where the casualty was holding on to 4 eggs, two eggs in each hand, and the eggs could not break, because you would get less points for it. Then there was, on day 2, there was like a huge climb through a hangar where there were a lot of planes, and they got points for every team member that made it to the other side. And they could get extra points if they took fire hoses with them rolled up. And I think the weights were 2 kilos, 4 kilos, and 6 kilos. But not every team member had to go over, but you had to finish within the 90 minutes. All the exercises have a time cap of 90 minutes. And there was one exercise where there was a 45-minute time cap for the first part. And then you had to, if you made that, then you could continue for the rest of the exercise. But for the big climb, you could send 3 guys over, take hoses, but they have to make it in 90 minutes. If in your team there's somebody who's not proficient at climbing huge different distances and through hard rope obstacles, then they could stay behind to get the other 5 people to finish, because you get, I don't remember, 30 points for each person that finished. And if they would take like a host, then it's worth it. So there's a lot of different aspects that teams are judged on, and it varies per exercise. I have not mentioned it in every exercise what it is, but now you have a kind of an idea on what the teams are judged on.
Competition day 1 will be at Walibi Entertainment Park. The teams will be competing on 4 trials on the various roller coaster rides. I'm not sure yet, we will see. I'm excited. Let's go.
Potential issue with the snagged ASAP line.
So, as you can see in the exercise, it's very dark in there. It's hard to film. There's like 5 or 6 teams, maybe even more, that simultaneously work. There's a lot of people, a lot of noise, a lot of commands going around. All the teams did different methods of executing the same trial. And the trial was, we have a schematic over here. So they start at one side and the casualty is over here. They have to climb up on pre-installed ropes that were installed by the organization. They could use those to ascend, climb up, 8 climb to the other side, descend down to the victim, and that's the first points they make are at the moment they start talking to the victim and the moment they reach the victim. So then they have to lift the casualty up, over and down. This is live wire. So nothing can touch that. The railing was like the barrier. They could touch the railing, but nothing in between the railing. A lot of different methods being used. We saw English reef, we saw Norwegian reef, we saw crosshaul, we saw variations of a combination of tensioned lines in a Harken wingman and a crosshaul. A lot of different things. It's very interesting. I have to process this a little bit more, but I'll get back on this later. Off to the next one. Just a quick little recap of the exercise you just saw at the Dalton Terror. The exercise was a 70-meter tower. The carts were stuck at around 50 meters. There were 2 pre-rigged ropes and 2 pre-rigged anchor slings. They had to use the pre-rigged ropes to ascend, to get access, and they could use the 2 pre-rigged slings for rigging whatever they needed. But the 2 ropes rigged were only for access, could not be used in the rescue themselves to lower off or something. I saw a couple of different scenarios. The team I filmed had the rescuer pick off the casualty and they were lowered down to the ground. Other teams did like a basic rope access pick-off rescue. So there were multiple different possibilities. Some went down straight, some had a little of a diagonal tension line to the car at the bottom. Very hard to film because it's very far away. The ascent was enormous, 70 meters in rope. I don't know if you've ever done it. I have not. Like 40 is my highest, I think. But some of the people were up pretty darn fast. So amazing work. And right now I'm off to the next trial or exercise. I'll keep you posted. This seems to be a fun one. Not as intensive as the last one on the Tower of Terror, the Dalton Tower. The trial is behind the screen over there. There's a casualty with a broken leg, I think. And they need to get the casualty up and out till here. So from behind here, up and then down to here. I'm seeing a few different things happening. First of all, it's real Belgian weather. We had rain and now the sun is coming out again. Beautiful weather. So there's a team over there who are going for a Skateblock. I heard them talk about it, but this team is doing what I think I would do. Oh yeah, access, there's 2 lines coming down that they can use to climb up the structure. Then they install 2 ropes up there to rappel down to the casualty. I will walk over there in a second because they already got one. And then they need to lift the casualty in, stretcher up and out. This team, I will get their name, have made tension lines to guide. They made tension lines to go up and then keep the casualty away from the structure. Because as you can see, it's slanting out. The team behind there are going for a Skateblock, and I'm not a very Skateblock experienced person, but usually a Skateblock you end up at 1/3 of where your anchor point is, of the distance. So if the distance between the anchor points is whatever, from there to there, you're gonna end up you barely make it over where the thing is. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I can put a diagram in or something. So one very smart thing this team did is they made the hauling system come down and then redirect on the ground. Now they have a lot of room to pull in, Usually teams or in training people start to haul like this, but it's always a short haul. Now you can do a huge reset and you have a lot of room to move, so the hauling will be a lot faster. These guys know what they're doing. As you can see with that team, they are lifting the stretcher up in a skate block and it's going underneath because you need that 1/3, 2/3 distance and they're not making that. So I was right that even on the way up it's not working. Let's see if they change it around for the way down. And otherwise it will be challenging for them. For all you skate block fans out there. Final exercise in the Vampire roller coaster. Again, machine stop, there's a casualty, but nobody knows if they're attached or secured, so that's something you have to think about. Means of access is a pre-installed set of ropes up here, and further down I will show you in a minute. So they have to take the casualty from here, go down, and then transfer to the other side of a hatch, and they get they can do rope-to-rope transfer or a cross haul or whatever system they want to use. So I will show you that now.
Right there, they go up to there, and I think they need to go underneath that beam. They need to go down and land there. Means of access was the blue and black rope, and they've just installed the beautiful colors of Guam. Which they don't to descend down. He's going down with the safety ship. Clive. He's going down with the casualty, and then the other guy will take down the ropes and take everything down.
There was one more constraint. If they come down from the first big lower and then transfer over, the control can only be at the top. There cannot be no control side at the bottom. So that's why there's somebody needs to be up there.
All right, end of day one. It was a very busy day. I had never been to a Grimpday like this before, as with a press access and a plan to film. So it was kind of hard to find my way. I wanted to follow a few teams, but I did not find them. Everybody was walking around. It was very hard to keep track of where everything was going. So I'll start at the beginning. We had the Psyke in the dark, which was very cool. We saw a lot of different ways to perform the exercise. I filmed only a few, but like I already said, we had English reefs, we had a Norwegian reef, we had crosshauls, we had combinations of crosshauls with the tensioned line, sort of a tramway, but also using the crosshaul ropes to maintain height. Hard to film, busy, a lot of noise, but good to see. That was the first exercise. The next exercise I went to was the Dalton Terror, the Tower of Terror, or something like that. It was a 77-meter climb for one of the guys, and the other one had to go up to 50 meters. A lot of constraints on that exercise. About the access was only the 2 lines rigged, and they could only use the 2 anchor points there for their rescue system, and they could not use the access lines for the rescue. So I already had a lot of comments on Instagram on a post I made. There are rules in place so that the organization can see a certain set of skills. So no winches, no nothing like that. No just a simple pick-up rescue. No, you have access. You need to go up to the casualty as fast as possible because that's one of the judgment points. After that, the second rescuer came up and the next one went up, or they did various ways of doing that to bring the casualty down. We saw a pick-off rescue. We saw the pick-off rescue where they lowered the casualty and the rescuer down. I saw them lower straight down. I saw them lower down onto sort of a tensioned line, anchored to the vehicle at the bottom. Multiple ways to doing that. Then the weather started to change, which had been predicted. So by the time I got to I forgot the name of it, but the wooden roller coaster, a lot of water came down, and wood gets very slippery when it gets wet. So the teams had quite the challenge. This one had a theme of communication. They were using a radio set, which I'm sorry, I forgot the name of. And so many things happened this week that some things just slipped through the cracks, and the communication devices is one of them. The exercise was they had to climb up on fixed lines on the slanted angle, then underneath the track at the bottom, behind the screen, there was the casualty. So one guy had to go down, second one had to come up. They had to put the casualty in the stretcher, lift the casualty out, and then back down. I saw Skateblock, I saw adjusted tension line. We saw sort of basically those were the main lines. I saw one Skateblock, and I saw multiple tramways with it being lowered from the top and were being lowered from the bottom. All kinds of possibilities. But it got really, really wet. My camera was soaked, so I did not film that much there. And afterward, we went to the Vampire roller coaster, where they got, again, 2 fixed lines only to be used for access. Anchor points needed to be on the rails of the roller coaster. And it was, the casualty had to land on a pathway, and there was a anchor point above that, and it had to come out of the cart. Most teams did sort of pick out the casualty, descend down with the casualty, and then rope-to-rope transfer onto the new set of lines that came from here back down like this. I did not see a lot of very different things in there. One team tried to go over a beam, which I did not see to the end because so many things happening. I think just going underneath was good enough. It was an epic day. At the end, we all drove home. I had to sort through this footage. The whole media team got together. Everybody was working on the computers to get the photos out to you guys. And then we had dinner, and then was off to the hotel because the alarm was set for 5 o'clock in the morning because we had to be in Brussels real early. So on to day 2.